Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Stretch It Out podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
We did a little delay there.
You gotta wait for like the beat to hit. That's why. I see the little sound waves and I know when to hit it.
That opener is so like cheesy, but the fact that I made it in Logic and I did it like so quick, yeah, it's fun. It's still fun.
Of it.
Yeah, no,
nobody else has that kind of opener.
Right, because they didn't make it. So.
Copyright.
Yep. So here we are, episode 8.
Ocho.
8 episodes. Yay. And I actually just got hit up by Matthew, my neighbor across the street, one of my best good friends.
Hey, Matthew.
And I said, I definitely want to hang out, but we got to record this episode, especially with all the craziness that's going on in the world today,
yeah.
Right? There's going to be some people out there curious to know what the Stretch It Out podcast has to say about it.
And I think it's important that, we do address it, because I don't like seeing like there's some businesses that, with everything that's going on in the world and they're acting like everything is normal, and unfortunately things aren't normal right now. So
yeah, and you know what? You really can't blame anybody right now for even just acting, maybe irrationally or saying things that they, because everybody's in a weird place. I think we're all there collectively.
Yeah.
We're definitely there individually. We're dealing with things in our own way. I can tell you straight up, for me, I'm there's like this weird kind of, it's there. It's anxiety that's there. And I'm able to kind of keep it at bay. But the anxiety for me is, sorry, I'm going to drink some water or something, but is my job, right? I mean, and I'm sure that's everybody I think at first it's kind of like, okay, it's crazy because things are, shutting down, and we're still, my company, we're still working, which is great. But there's everyone I talk to is kind of in some way sharing with me that they are on the same wavelength that I'm on in terms of, their anxiety about, how long are we going to be able to keep this up? And so I think there's real valid concerns for everybody right now. I think everyone's going to have their opinion, and everyone's opinion is going to be based on where they're getting their where they're, what kind of content it is that they're consuming. And let's face it, most of us, I know for me, I'm working, right? I'm working from home and I've got the news on, right? So
yeah,
I don't necessarily think that that's a really good idea. If you're sitting, I've got it on, but I've got it on mute while I'm on conference calls, and then I'll turn it on in the background while I'm working. But I think that you got to be careful that you're just not over consuming any media regarding it. You got to be careful with that too, because I think all of us are capable of just obsessing over the wrong things, and some people, we can obsess over that stuff. And I think that's why you're seeing some of the stuff you're seeing, right? I think that's why you're seeing some people that are going and buying everything up that they can buy, because they're so caught up in the anxieties and the worries about everything that's going on that just seems natural. That's a natural thing to do as a human. Like, okay, well, I've got to do these things to prepare for it in case it gets worse, right?
Yeah.
So I can't, all I have for the people, and I know you share this this opinion, is love, right? I just got so much love for everybody. I want, I'm praying for everybody. I'm absolutely praying for those that, that were infected, and the families that have already, suffered a lot of loss. I know that we tend to be disconnected from the loss outside of our immediate family, friends. We tend to be even disconnected from the loss in other countries, right? But think about that. There's a lot of people that are suffering some serious loss right now, so, going through that.
Yeah.
And we're going through like we're in a totally different place, but there's a lot of people right now that are in a really dark headspace. And so I pray for those people. I think I would much rather kind of put my energy into those types of things, trying to provide some encouragement, you know, and trying to just try to keep things into perspective, right? I think it's super hard to do sometimes, and that's why I was excited about this episode, like, jumping on today and talking about it, because I know we were going to record yesterday, and then it didn't work out, and we knew we wanted to talk about what's going on right now, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't talk about COVID-19. We can't talk about the coronavirus because we don't really know anything about it, you know, outside what you guys are all,
Yeah.
our listeners already know.
We're not
But what we
doctors.
wanted to talk about more was, I think we're going to call this episode "What You Can and Can't Control." Really, a better way to put that is what you can control versus what you can't control, and which of those two categories is going to win. Not meaning who's going to win, like who's going to come out on top, but who's going to win more of your mind share, who's going to win more of your focus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this, I think what we're going to talk about, you can apply anywhere at any time. But I think right now, what we're going through, it's probably most applicable, most pertinent now with the coronavirus and just kind of everything that's happening globally right now. So I've done a lot of talking in the first 6.5 minutes, Audrey.
Oh, we're not done? I thought that was the full hour.
Feels like it sometimes when you're listening to me talk, but
just kidding.
You're not that lucky. You got me for another 55 minutes.
Shucks, lucky me. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to start off by saying, like, happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody, because, right?
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Is it really St. Patrick's Day today?
Yeah, that's what my calendar said.
There's no way.
Is it? It's got to be St. Patrick's Day. I hope it is. St. Patrick's Day. Yep.
I'm so disconnected. Yeah, it is. Tuesday, March 17th. I just looked it up. It is St. Patrick's Day.
But it's also, we're not Irish, so it's okay that we, you know, weren't
forgot
positive that it was St. Patty's Day.
No, I think it's awesome. I think that's cool. Like, now I'm like, okay, I can't wait to finish this thing up so I can go hang out with all my friends, hang out with my neighbors, have a drink.
Beer. You gotta put green dot in it.
I probably won't have a green beer, but that's okay. As long as I'm having it with a good friend, you can't beat that, right?
There you go. Well, I mean,
I thought that was cool that Andy. Sorry, we're trying to talk at the same time. I was gonna say, I thought that was super cool that Andy was like, "When is the next episode coming out?" She was like, "When is?" You know, because she's like, "I'm totally gonna be catching up."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great though. You know, I think that's awesome that you know.
Well, let's inform like everybody else. So our cousin Andy, she lives up in the where is she? Where are you at? She's in San Jose.
I know. Do we call her? Do we just call her right? I'm just kidding.
Just call her in.
We will be able to do that eventually, so everybody knows. I am looking into buying the stuff that I need to make that work.
Lifeline.
So we'll be able to call you. You can call in. It's going to be fun. It'll be really fun. But anyway, sorry to cut you off.
So she's on lockdown, and I mean, everybody already knows my story. You know, I was laid off before any of this, but now I feel like a lot of people, I mean, I have friends in New York who are, you know, they're being forced to work from home, and unfortunately I have friends that were laid off, and, you know, now we have our cousin Andy who's kind of like just in lockdown mode of, you know, you only go out of the house unless you need to go to the grocery store or the doctor's office, you know?
Right.
And that's kind of scary because, I mean, our generation, we've never lived through something like that. And I fear more so for the elderly people, because a lot of the younger people, you know, may say things of like, and this is just my point of view, guys, but a lot of younger people are just saying like, oh, it's, you know, it's, my eyes were opened up to this too, because I was saying it as well, but people are saying like, oh, it's just like the flu. It's just like the flu. And it is, you know, but I'm more worried about the elderly people, and I don't want to, if I'm a carrier, I don't want to spread it to them. So I completely agree with like a lot of the self quarantines and stuff like that going on.
Right. Right. I mean, I'm going to do, I'm going to do whatever the experts are telling me to do, because I'm just not in a position to argue it, you know, and I think most people are. I think even people that are saying, you know, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Which I've been that person, right, this whole time.
I was that
person. And I think a lot of it is just because I'm kind of trying to tell myself, like, it's not a big deal. Like, don't freak out. And I understand it's a big deal, right? So when I say like it's not a big deal, you can't take that literally, right? You have to take that in the context that I'm trying to communicate it in. It is a big deal. I'm trying not to. and I think a lot of parents especially are in that place right now where it's a big deal. And you're trying to make sure that there's still some peace and calm with your children. And so, yeah, you got to find that happy medium, but you've got to be able to focus on the things you can't do, the things that you can control, and less on the things that you can't control. And sometimes things are moving so quickly that you don't have the time required or even the information um, to really make sense of it all. Like on your own terms. Like, right now everybody's got a different opinion, but still not everybody really has their arms wrapped around the whole thing. I mean, there's plenty of people that think that they do, I'm sure. But I don't. And so I'm just trying to focus on, well, what can I do right now? For me, I'm very fortunate that I'm still working. Sorry about my dogs barking in the background. And that helps. That's helping to keep me occupied, right, to an extent, keep my mind moving. But I think if you're freaking out a little bit about it, I just want to encourage you to zoom out a little bit. Try to distance yourself from what's going on and the things that you're freaking out about. And hopefully, as we walk through the rest of this episode, we can try to help you sort some of those things out enough so that it's not overwhelming. And at least it's something that you can, because if nothing else, know that you're not alone. We don't know. Like, everybody's got again, a little bit of anxiety. I think some of us are just, I can tell you that when I walk outside after this, so long as, my neighbors are still out or whatever, I'm going to hang out with my neighbors and, enjoy the moment. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we won't talk about what's going on. I'm sure that comes up in conversation, but my point is I'm going to be more focused on that and less focused on the things that are beyond my control. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to, I'm not going to do, there's a lot of things I'm not doing. Right. It has been altering, I think, altering everybody's lives in big ways. Right. But even me, like, I went over the weekend, like, I didn't even, I didn't really think about it. Like, oh, I should, let's not go out to eat. That's probably a bad idea. Right. Like, I went to the gym and, I'm thinking I maybe shouldn't be going to the gym. You know what I mean? That's me though. Right. There's a lot of people I think they're going, man, you can go to the gym. It's not a big deal. But when you're me, you're looking for any excuse to get out of going to the gym. So that was maybe one.
I stayed on track. They had me work. We were working out at home. So
nice.
I can't.
So you haven't been going to the gym then? Did they close your gym? Because my gym's still open.
I don't believe that they closed the gyms. But like I said, I have a friend who just moved back to New York, and she's actually a personal trainer, and she they notified her. It was the government is forcing like all the businesses to close down, so nobody was able to go to the gym over there. But I think our gym is still open. But I just was as a precaution because something kind of hit me the other day. Just when I was out grocery shopping and trying to find toilet paper. Oh my gosh, guys. If anybody's got toilet paper, send me a roll because I can't find it anywhere in the state of Nevada right now.
You still don't have any?
I still do not have it. I found 2 packets of baby wipes and they're non-flushable, so I can't flush.
I was gonna say I was gonna be like, are you like now like super backed up at this point? Like, thank you, coronavirus.
I'm trying to ration my food portions so I don't have to go to the bathroom as much. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I'll be okay. I can figure something out. Start making my own somehow. But it was when I was at the grocery store, and I just saw like an elderly couple, and I think that's kind of I saw like I ended up seeing like a post on Instagram, and I was already looking at I always go to the CDC.gov website, and that's what they kept saying. They were like, it's more elderly people who are getting affected, and a lot of the carriers, which are like the young people, is like we don't show symptoms, but we can pass it on to an elderly person, and so that's what kind of struck home with me. So I was happy that we were all in agreement of like, hey, we're not going to go to the gym, like we could work out at home. So we worked out in my boyfriend's garage with his best friend and his fiance, and that girl kicked my ass and working out, but we did it. So like
awesome.
you know, it's scary for me because if it's like our parents or something, I wouldn't want to go and spread that to them. So I just hope that a lot of people have that mentality. But also, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it
You
is.
know,
Well, I mean, it's based on the education, the what you've been educated on, what you've learned, right? And I think I really just want to make sure that we're doing
yeah.
our part and doing
But
the best we can with what we have, right? I think there's a lot of
yeah,
people in moments like this that tend to part of the way they cope with things, and
yes,
this might
you're
sound
on track
sound
to win.
bad, but part of the way some people cope with things is by pointing fingers at other people and
Yes.
saying you're an idiot because you're not doing this, or you know what I mean. Like, there's always those people that just they have to be the person that knows more than everybody else that's what's going on. And I don't think that that's them trying to be ugly,
Hmm.
right? Or what's the word? Is that the they're not trying to be salty, right? They're just that's just part of how they cope, right? Is this person, might be the person that I'm talking about that just dives so much into the information. It's like information overload. And because they've, soaked themselves in all of this info and, content and data, they just feel like, kind of like, okay, I feel better about what's going on because I know so much. I've taken in so much information. And those are the people that sometimes that's just how it comes out, right? Like, they're
Yeah.
not trying to be ugly to you. They're just, hey, you're wrong. I'm right. Here's why I'm right. And here's right. That's them trying to make a difference. I really do think. I don't think it's them trying to be ugly. But every one of us is going to have a weird, I'm talking to you right now from the place that I'm at in the world right now, right? And I'm in a very different place than, say, somebody that's having to stay home, and maybe their home is not ideal. What if I'm
Yeah.
what if I'm a kid that lives in an abusive household,
Hmm.
and going to school is like my only saving, grace for, I mean, think about that. I know I'm going like real extreme, but this stuff is really happening. I mean, for
Yeah.
me, I say, yeah, it's changed my life. It's been an inconvenience, let's call it that. But I think about the people that are actually being destroyed by this right now. Their lives are just being turned upside down. And man, I just hope and pray for those people. My heart just goes out to those people, and think about the elderly right now, right?
Yeah. A lot
I
of them are terrified to even go into the grocery
I
stores.
would be. I would be, right? I
Oh,
would. I know
definitely.
that I would be because I
Yeah.
know how I am. I would be freaking out, right? Um, I hope, I hope Dad's doing okay. I haven't talked to Dad. We gotta reach out to him and
I feel
check
like
in on the
Dad's
guy.
always self quarantining himself, so I think he's okay. But yeah, we should call him. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't worry too much about him because I know that he's always working in the house or in the yard. I don't think he leaves
yeah, the
the
neighbors
fence
in
line.
his yard.
Yeah. He's got one of those little ankle things. If he tries to leave the fence line, won't let him.
It's gonna like zap him, like what? The electric fence.
But seriously, Dad, he's
Yeah, he's.
I'm not saying he's like old, but there's elderly people out there that are already pretty fragile, and
I mean, even
to
just
have that
thinking.
added stress on you,
Yeah,
especially when you're older, you've been through so much already in life, and then here's this, it's just not a cool, not a good hand to be dealt for a
yeah,
lot of people right now. And what's most important is I think that we all focus on the things that we can control. Don't carry
mhm,
around all the stuff that we can't. I do that. I do that. So when I'm saying that, I'm talking to me in a lot of ways. I'm saying, Nick, don't worry about the stuff you can't control. I do. And anybody that knows me, I'm sure both of our listeners know, I don't do a very good job of keeping the stuff that I can't control off of my plate. I tend to, I don't know why. And I'm working on it, right? I'm
yeah,
always working on that. And I do a better job of taking somebody else's situation and saying, here's what I think, you know, I can look at their situation and go, dude, you're focusing on the stuff you can't control. You need to focus on
yeah.
this stuff. But then
Easier said than
when it's,
done.
yeah, when it's self-talk, Nick, right? When I say to myself, I say, self, you need to stop doing that. It's like in one ear and out the other.
Hmm.
So but I mean it though when I say that, like focusing on the things that you can control, especially in times like this, right? Where it's chaotic, it's crazy. There's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of things you can get really sour about and be really upset about and be really frustrated about.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think it's important that we, at least for those listening and our friends and our family, like we should try to be the people that are trying to bring some type of positivity, some type of peace, some calm, maybe be a shoulder to cry on for somebody that this has really, been detrimental to them and their lives, but be that person
Mm-hmm.
instead of the person that's walking around, um, uh, adding to the problem, right? Try to be the person that's helping. And the only way you can do that is, again, focus on the things you can control and try not to focus so much on the stuff that you can't.
Yeah.
There's only so much we can do.
I mean, I'm thinking because I know a lot of kids. I know your kids are out of school until, I mean, they don't have any more school, right? For the rest of the year, they're done, right?
No, I don't think that they've officially said it till the end of the year for us. I think we're 4 weeks.
Oh, okay. I know
So
Vegas, they are out of school until April 6th, I believe it was. But I'm pretty sure that might be pushed back too, depending.
yeah,
But I'm like, how do you spin this negative? Because now, I mean, you have to think about it. Like a lot of parents, maybe they don't have the money for daycare. Like they're still working, but now their children are out of school. You know?
well, there's not even going to be a daycare. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
It's not even having the money. Like, even if you have the money, daycares are shutting down. I mean, you
Hmm.
can't run a daycare, right? I mean, you can't.
You can't.
Maybe I'm wrong, right? But I'm thinking like this is really, really having an impact on so many people's lives. And if you're listening, I'll bet there's a good chance that if it's really, really rough for you right now, there's probably someone else out there that has it rougher.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't say that to mitigate, I don't mean to be insensitive. Let's put it that way. I say that because I hope to help you keep things into perspective, right? Like basics 101, it could always be worse.
Yeah.
It could always be worse. I
I
know it
mean,
seems really bad right now, and a lot of people are going through some really, really tough stuff. But just remember that it can always be worse. I mean, am I wrong? Do I sound like a
no,
jerk when I say that?
no. Like when you say that, I mean, obviously, social media's been blowing up with like memes and stuff about the coronavirus, and it's. Have you seen those memes where they talk about? They're saying like, "Oh, 2020 is gonna be my year," and then like it shows the Australian wildfires and then like people getting laid off and then it shows coronavirus and coronavirus is like hold my beer. So it's always like I
Oh
feel
God,
like this year is just progressively like one tragedy after, and I don't mean to laugh, guys. I'm so sorry. That's insensitive right there. But I just feel like we
you're
have
a
faced
jerk.
so many different obstacles and we're only in March. Like, but I mean the thing is that what I love most is like seeing so many people come together in this time. Cause okay, I mean
That is cool.
I've been self quarantining myself, and I have been watching Netflix like no other. And I watch these like post apocalyptic shows. Like I watched One Containment, which was actually a really good show, and it was like about a virus that gets spread and everybody dies and stuff. But it's so funny how like Hollywood portrays that if a pandemic happens that society just completely crumbles and a lot of crime goes up and like people start murdering each other and robbing each other and things like that. But what I love seeing is sorry, that's my phone, is seeing like I'm sure you've seen the videos of Italy because Italy is like on a complete lockdown. They cannot leave their apartments, their homes, anything like that. But like they're still out on the balconies singing to one another. They're playing games with
Yeah,
their
I
neighbors
saw a
through the
little clip.
windows.
Yeah, I saw a little clip of that, and
I
I think
love
that's
seeing that.
huge.
Talk
I
that's
think that's
talking
the stuff we need to be talking about and looking for,
Yes. That's what I
right?
love. Um, I saw videos, of some of an elderly lady at a grocery store, and she was trying to get, I don't know if it was like paper towels or toilet paper, but there was an older woman trying to get the toilet paper, and then there was like a much younger person. who was like, just stockpiling it, just being a hoarder with the toilet paper. And she was fighting the older woman for the last roll of the toilet paper, even though she had like 30 in her cart. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that like other Samaritans around like fought for the older lady just to get that toilet paper.
Yeah.
Like that, it goes to show that people, us as a society, like we truly do come together.
We
And
do, for the most part. We do.
yeah, I don't think it's like what you see on movies in Hollywood and stuff like that. It's good for TV, but I've seen so many people in this time like helping one another out. And I mean, I have people here. I finally opened up to the people that I live with, my best friend's parents, and I opened up to them and told them that I got laid off. And immediately, right off the bat, she was like, "Don't pay us any rent. Don't do anything. We're all in this together." And now she's like trying to
Wow.
force feed me every night, and I'm just like, I'm not hungry, but but a lot of people come, they come together, and I think that's what matters the most. And I think that is what shows like someone's true their true character in a time of need like this, where they're
Yeah.
willing
Yeah.
to,
Panic.
yeah, when they're willing to give something that's like okay, toilet paper. Like I she had friends, she didn't have any toilet paper, and her friends were like, "Oh, here, like, take some toilet paper,"
Yeah.
versus other people right now are out there trying to hoard this stuff, and it's a little ridiculous. But just to have like a small gesture like that kind of restores my faith in humanity.
Mm-hmm. No, you're absolutely right. And that's the stuff I think we need to try to be calling out and focusing on, especially as, over these next few weeks, right? I think it would be
Yeah,
cool if we could get some people to well, I know we got to get like more than a few listeners first, but it would be nice if we could get the few listeners that we have to send us some wins over this next week. Some things that you're seeing, as we move through this together, right?
yeah,
Things that you're seeing that you could just shoot us a note, say, hey, this is a win worth celebrating. There's going to be wins, right? There's going to
yeah,
be wins every day. We're going to find some wins. You found some wins, right? You were I like the way you put it, like you opened up, right? And that to me tells me that it wasn't easy for you
yeah,
to say, hey, I was laid off. And I get that because it's hard to do, especially because you live there. So you're kind of like, you're probably like me, where you're probably saying, look, I'm not telling you this because I want you to be worried and I want you to feel like you have to help me. I'm telling you this, to tell you, to inform you, right, where I'm at. Um, I'm sure you didn't tell them your intentions weren't to try to get them to say, okay, you don't have to pay rent, right?
yeah,
But you got to win from that, is my point, right?
exactly.
You took that risk, if you will, and you said, okay, I'm going to tell them, and you got to see that side of humanity that we all like so much. And there's a lot of that going on, I'm sure. And I would love to be able to call some of that out and just, here on the Stretch It Out podcast with the, our few folks that listen. I mean, we're a pretty tight knit group, everybody that does listen. I mean, close friends and family for the most part. I would love
Yeah,
to be able to call out some wins, right? Maybe it's with the kids. Maybe it's something that you saw somebody do for somebody else, right? Like you just said, just this simple act of, hey, I'll give you some of my toilet paper. And right now, that's a big deal, right? If you
it's
hit me
huge.
up a month ago and said, yeah, someone gave me toilet paper in the store, I wouldn't be wow, like over celebrating the win.
Yeah, you would not be jazzed about it.
But today, seriously, I mean, that's a win, right? Like you were walking around backed up for how many days before you got some toilet paper? So I'm
I
sure
mean,
when
I
you finally
still
got some
am,
toilet paper, you were probably, like a whole new woman, right?
Guys, I'm not even lying. I mean, I'm sure everybody else is facing this too, but yesterday I went to a Home Depot, I went to Office Max, I went to Lowe's, I went to two different grocery stores. I went to
And here's the best part. Here's the best part. I was on FaceTime with her the whole time
yeah. And
because
I
she
mean,
wanted to show me. She's like, "Do your stores look like this?"
yeah, because I was honestly about to tell my brother, like, hey, I will pay you money to FedEx me some toilet paper.
Yeah, but you still haven't found any.
No, I have not found any. Alessa told me to check a gas station. She said that she found some there, and I went to a few different gas stations. Nothing.
I
And
did
but
see that there were some businesses that don't typically sell that stuff that were selling it to some of their customers, which I thought was cool. They understood like, okay, there's a real need here. So I think I don't know if they just ordered more of what they normally order for their bathrooms or whatever, but business is like, like a restaurant or something, like saying, hey, we also have toilet paper if you need some. I think
See,
that's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, I'm sure everybody else has heard because Vegas, Vegas is shutting down now at this point. I know for sure all MGM resorts are officially closed. So you
Yeah.
can't even, that's tragic too, but in my
That's
head,
crazy.
I'm not gonna lie. In my head, I was like, man, maybe I could just go and find like a housekeeper's cart that she pushes around and take 4 rolls.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I
Sounds like they're having a
didn't.
good time over at your house, by the way. Sounds like they are having a really good time with social distancing.
So you have dogs, and I have 3 women.
You have huge
in my kitchen that are making like meatballs and sauce and drinking wine. So
There you go. There you go. But I
say
think
Santa
that's
Maria.
but that's cool, right? I mean, we should be using this time to, kind of hang out and maybe connect on a different level, right? But I would love if some of our listeners, if you could just send us some wins that we can celebrate with you on the next episode.
I would honestly love that because even just sharing those stories, that spreads so much positivity.
Oh, it's huge.
And like it doesn't even have to just be like, oh, I sent in one. Like, I've seen 4 different acts of kindness, in a day, and
Yeah.
that when I see somebody else do that, it kind of puts things into perspective for me where I'm just like, okay, well, what have I done to be kind to somebody else or just doing something kind?
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing
Yeah.
is like, this is my city and I love my city and I hate it when I see people litter. So a lot of times, like, I'll go up and grab trash and go put it in the trash can. Like, that's my little act of kindness. That's kind of like on a daily basis, but how are we kind
Yeah.
to one another now?
Yeah, no, I think that please, to our listeners, please send us some wins that you see. Send it anyway. I don't care if you listen to this and it's like 2035 and you're just like deep
Oh,
into
I would
the
love that.
vault of Stretch It Out podcasts. First of all, if that's the case, right? If I'm talking to somebody that's listening to this in 2035, pretty cool to talk to somebody from the future, by the way. So, got to tell you, it's the first time I've ever done that. But if
Flying cars.
if somebody from 2035 is listening, I hope that we're still going strong. I hope that we're still getting an episode up every week, or even better, we've got like a YouTube channel and we've taken all of our friends with us and we've created like a whole crew of corrective perspective and we're just spreading love, right? That'd be cool. But
Nick is trying real hard to get me to move to Texas, y'all.
I really am. I really am. I am, like, I really do. I think that if you came to Texas, we could do a lot more together. I think we could start a YouTube channel. I think that we could, try to really start to provide some real next level type of encouragement, perspective, we'll call it what you want to call it, but just really try to do our part to help those around us. But shameless plug, I guess, try to get you out here. But one day.
We shall see.
But I want some wins. So please, even if it's 10 years down the road, send us some wins to celebrate. You see something like that, you see acts of kindness. That's the stuff we need to be talking about and I think need to be reminded of. And that's honestly, this is my favorite stuff to come across when I'm looking on social media, Facebook, Instagram. When I come across stuff like that, I'm like, man, that's cool. Like, it's touching. It's a good reminder. And I think there will never be enough of that in the world.
You know what I love about seeing things like that, especially like if it's on social media or something, is that, okay, you see the act of kindness be done, right? And to somebody, it could just be something so simple as like smiling or just helping them, up some steps or something like that. But seeing the person who needed that help in that moment, how impactful it was on them.
Yeah.
That's what
Huge.
I love. So it's not even about like necessarily the act that you're doing, but seeing the impact of what you did, how that affected somebody. That's what I enjoy.
I love that too. And you know what I love also? I love the other side of that for the person that provided the kindness, for the person that kind of administered that act of kindness, if you will. Because I've been that person, and I think that what it does for that person is huge too.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like when you are able to help somebody else, the high that you get from that, in my opinion, is the ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's cool when you see somebody go out of their way, set themselves aside, especially if it's not typical of that person to do that, right? You know what I'm talking about? Dang, they're having a really good time over there.
I'm
I'm at the
sorry, I
wrong
keep turning
house.
down my mic.
I'm at the wrong. No, just leave it up. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I think they're on like bottle number 2 for wine.
Yeah. What's interesting though is you never had a bunch of people at the house partying before when we were recording through your freaking AirPods, and now you get a brand new mic and everyone's there.
This self-quarantine, social distancing.
Yeah, now we got the mic with the crispness and we're picking up everything. But but people when they do things like that, when they provide an act of kindness, they do something, they set themselves aside to help somebody else. I like seeing that too. If I'm third party to all of that and I get to see that, I like seeing that. I like seeing what it does. It kind of changes their posture for the better. And that's why we've talked about that in another episode, where that's why it's so important that when you are feeling down, lost, confused, scared, right, it's important to be able to disconnect enough from your reality to acknowledge somebody else's that could be worse than yours. Maybe not, right? But could be worse than yours. Maybe they've got a need that you can meet for them in that moment. Doing something like that quick detour, really can help you come back and look at your situation through a totally different lens. And even now you can apply that, I think, right? With coronavirus and everything that's going on, this freaking, this pandemic and all that. I mean, it's crazy. You can do that now. And I'm seeing people do that. I'm seeing it on, like you are, on social media. I'm seeing people, going, yeah, I've got plenty of things that I can worry about. But there are people out there that need more than I need, and
Yes.
I can meet those needs, right? Shout out for somebody, because I just thought about this. Matt Piccioni, remember I brought him up before, childhood friend of mine. I don't even know if he's checked out the podcast. I gotta send it to him. Be like, hey, go listen to the podcast. But he's just a good person. He's a good human being. And I was scrolling through Facebook my lunch break today, and I saw a post from him, and you'll have to forgive me because I didn't get to read the whole thing, but he basically said, hey, he was putting it out there. Hey, if anybody needs help, if you need, I can deliver some groceries for you. I can do this for you. Like, just offering up very basic, like, hey, I can do this for you. And I'm thinking to myself, man, you know how huge that would be for somebody right now, especially if I'm elderly, right? And maybe he's got a friend of a friend or someone that sees that and goes, man, I'm out of town, but my mom, she's elderly, she's there. If you could help, that would be huge. I think about that, right? And I'd love to be able to maybe learn a little bit more about how that played out for him. But just the act of doing that,
putting yourself
really
out
says
there.
A lot about the person that he is. The dude's got a big heart. Shout out to you, Matt. Hopefully we get him on one day, right? Talk about how he's crushing it at life, or maybe he's on the YouTube channel. Who knows? Maybe that happens. No, but
I actually sent Alessa something, just because I know like all the kids and stuff are out of school now, and there was like somebody had recommended saying like, oh, if your child's out of school and you don't have any activities, like you're running out of things to kind of keep these kids, social distanced from other kids and not so restless in the house. But they were saying, they were like, think about a lot of the retirement homes. Those people can't be visited by anybody. No one's allowed to go in and out of those homes. And so they were saying like, have your children write some cards and stuff, just like some cheerful things, and send it to the retirement homes and things like that. And I thought that was a really good idea, because I mean, as you get older too, there's some older people who maybe they don't have any family or something, or maybe
we can all do that.
Yeah.
We can all do that. I mean, that's super
Exactly.
cool what you just brought up. Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, my kids don't have anybody, right? Like in our family right now that's in a home, right? Or but who cares? They could totally, you know what I mean? That's what they were doing all day today, was drawing pictures and stuff. Like, how cool would that be to just send some stuff to these folks and just let them know, hey, we're thinking of you. You know, I
Yeah.
think that would be cool. I know if you did it based on your track record, they'd get it in a couple months. Did Chris get his? Chris isn't here, but I'm sure I'll talk to him hopefully after we get done recording, and I'm gonna ask him if he got
I'll,
it yet.
I'll be
I mean,
honest.
talking about acts of kindness, right? I mean, you would think,
At
right?
this point.
Yes, you would think at this point Chris has gotten his due payment, right? With an amazing card, handwritten, beautifully written from the heart, right? All that good stuff. I mean, this cake's got a lot of icing on it, but it's almost imploding on itself. Like it's got a little too much.
I, I was so focused on finding water and toilet paper.
Oh, here it is. There it is. What was the excuse last
I
time?
know.
Oh, yeah, it's always something.
Let's do like an episode next week. Excuses.
Yes. Yes, excuses. And we get to hear from one of the world's top professionals when it comes to excuses, Audrey Stretch.
Nick, I won't be available next week, so you're gonna have to do it with someone else.
Right. And you'll have an excuse, though.
I got something going on.
Mm-hmm. But you'll have a good excuse, right? And it'll be toilet paper related, I'm sure. But
yes.
Poor Chris. Poor Chris. And, you know, shout out to Chris. Shout out to Chris for being so patient. Shout out to Chris for me, because I think I told him blow her up, like send her messages. You know what I mean?
He does not either.
Chris is too nice. He's a good dude, and he's super patient. But I'm just saying, you would have thought, you know,
I know.
You would have thought he had that already.
I mean, at this point, I'm just gonna give him like $100 with interest, with the $20.
Yep, there it is. There it is. There's another promise. Almost broke as it came out of your mouth. You know what I mean? Like I can hear it breaking as you were saying it. One of those promises.
Yeah. Not even that. I'll do it tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it tonight. I'll go to
Yeah. Yeah, you'll do it tonight.
Well, won't get shit done till tomorrow, so I might as well wait till tomorrow, right?
There it is. And there it is. We do need to do an episode on excuses. And Audrey, I don't think it's gonna be in the context that we want it in. I think that it would be the opposite. Like we would be trying to talk about how excuses are bad, but you're so damn good at it that people would be like, I'm so good at making excuses now after listening to that episode.
I did the complete opposite of what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Welcome to my life, everybody.
No, it's just fun to pick on you, especially with this one, because
it's hilarious.
I even called you out. I was like, you are putting so much accountability on you right now. And you were like, no, for sure. Like, it's going to be like legit. Like, we're going to make it look so good. And I'm going to handwrite it. And I'm like going to chisel it into stone. And he's going to get $100. And I'm going to fly out there and like hand deliver it to him. And right. Of course, you can't do that now. Right. That's an easy excuse.
Oh yeah. I can't do it because the airlines, you know.
And then every time I see Chris, I'm like, hey neighbor, I got a big smile on my face, and I see him, he waves, and then I see him, his head just puts his head down a little bit, and I go, you didn't get it yet, huh? And he's like, yeah, that's okay. Maybe tomorrow.
Chris.
Because I see him walking down to the mailbox every day, and he's like, I think today's the day. No, I'm just kidding. That's not really what's happening. I'm just trying to lay it on real thick now. Because nothing else is working. He hasn't gotten it. So,
Chris, let's get you on here so we can get your true side of the story. Nick's painting a sad Hollywood story right now.
I am, but I'm doing a decent job of it.
But hey, you know, I don't realize what that small act of kindness could do to Chris and how it will impact him. You know?
Exactly. And we're going to get a picture. I mean, it's a big deal. Like, Chris is our biggest fan. Chris is our biggest fan. Chris is my biggest fan, like, by far. Chris is, like, my biggest cheerleader here, like, in Texas. He is. I mean, he's just a great guy. So, and that's why it's so upsetting that he hasn't gotten what he was promised. But anyway, we can move on from that.
It's still not over.
I love that I can still pick on you at 35. I love it.
What is this, episode 8? I said that in episode 1. Or no, 2. It's episode 2.
Was it episode 2? I thought it was 1, but I guess
it was 1. We said the secret word, but then we announced it on episode 2.
Okay. I got you. Well, Chris has nailed it. Chris has been able to tell me, and it's not because it's not he's listening to the podcast multiple times. He's just really, really smart. So he'll listen to the podcast and he's got a really good memory, right? And so he'll tell me, like, he'll know, because even sometimes I won't remember, right? Like, you have a conversation with somebody, you're like, I don't remember if I said that or if Audrey said it. And Chris will go, oh, no, you said it. Or he'll be like, no, that was Audrey. She said this, and then she said this. And he's super god when it comes to sports. Like, the dude knows, like, football, baseball, like just all the ins and outs and like the stats and all that stuff. Like, he's just got I think he uses more of his brain than most people.
That's awesome. Teach me how to do that.
Yeah, he's a bright dude.
I used to have a great memory, and I feel like once I hit 30, not even that, I think once I hit 26, like, I forget so much stuff now.
Yeah, that's part of getting older. It's part of getting older. And also, you tend to drink more, and I think that does play a part.
Actually, I haven't drank. I told you, like, I'd really cut back on drinking.
Well, that's good. I'm actually glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm very glad to hear
Except for tonight. Tonight, I did go to the store and buy some wine for tonight. So.
Of course.
Come on, it's St. Patrick's Day. You have to.
Well, I didn't know it was St. Patrick's Day, right? I thought that, my neighbors were just hitting me up because Matthew sent me a text. He's like, hey, come hang out. And I was like, that's so cool. Awesome. I can't wait to hang out. But now I'm like, oh, no wonder why everyone wants to hang out. It's freaking St. Patrick's Day.
You want to know why I love this holiday? Remember, if you don't wear green, you get pinched, right?
I totally hated that.
Yeah. People would come
and that's why I was greened out. Mom was always like, why are you painting yourself green? I was like, I ain't getting pinched.
Ain't happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my secret weapon for that all the time was that I have like greenish eyes. So I'm like, you can't pinch me because I got green.
Yeah, but you're not wearing it. Doesn't count.
It's a part of me. It's in my blood.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't count. It doesn't count. It just doesn't count. If you can't see it, it doesn't count. Period.
Everybody sees it. I see it in the mirror.
Yes, they do see your eyes, but you're not wearing it. It doesn't count.
Let's take a poll, guys. Do my eyes count for me wearing green, or does it not? Send in your answers.
It doesn't count.
It does.
There you go.
It
Poll over.
It does. Let me go ask these 3 drunk ladies in my living room right now.
Even they would probably go, no, it doesn't count. You have to be wearing green. That's just how it works.
I'm wearing it though. Just because
if you're wearing it, that's fine. But if it's in your eyes, it doesn't count.
It's in my eyes. I'm wearing it.
Doesn't count.
It's in my blood.
Doesn't count.
God bestowed that gift upon me. And he said, Audrey shall never be pinched on St. Patrick's Day. So I'm going to give her green eyes.
If you get pinched because you're rolling with the my eyes are green theory, I'm not going to feel sorry for you.
I've never gotten pinched.
Okay. So you've only hung out with people that don't follow the rules. And that's fine. So you hang out with rule breakers. Totally get it. We understand the type of people that you keep in your circle, and you've just showed us your hand. Totally kidding. I'm in rare form, aren't I? I worked all day, like nonstop conference calls through my lunch break. I've just got so much going on. And I'm not saying that because I want to sound like a whiny baby, but I'm just saying
I haven't really
had a chance to breathe, And so as soon as I got done, I was like, holy crap, it's already 5. I didn't even realize it was 5. And then I was like, well, let's get this thing done. Let's record this podcast. Let's record this episode. So anyways, back to controlling the controllable, focusing on the things you can do, right? Because I don't know where we got off. Like, we just totally
what tangent did we just jump off on?
It was crazy. It was crazy. But getting back to kind of where we're at in the world, again, I think there's so much information out there. I think it's good that you stay plugged in. I think that's healthy. I want to encourage you to be careful not to let it overwhelm you so much that you can't focus on the things you can control. Don't let the stuff that is beyond your control take control. I think that's when it gets bad. The stuff that's beyond your control, let it stay beyond your control so you can focus on the things you can control. And usually that's more bite-sized for us as humans, right? If we focus on the things we can control, usually it's a smaller box. I did a training a long time ago. It was a Disney training. Disney does like leadership trainings and stuff like that. And I got to attend a really cool one years back. Yeah, it was awesome. And it was cool because they were talking about how they train their employees to make sure that, all of their guests have like a magical experience. And I mean, even the people that are walking around sweeping, the grounds and stuff. So they have a thing where they say, like, you typically hear people say, well, think outside of the box. Right? It's pretty
Yes.
common. Think outside of the box. Well,
I know exactly
Disney,
where you're going with this. I love it. Go.
yeah, comes and trains everybody to think inside the box. And I think that's very much aligned with what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of trying to take on everything that's out of your control, that's outside of your box, focus on the things that are within your control in the box. In other words, here's what you can do. Forget about all the stuff you can't. Make sense? And so you do the same thing here. There is so much that you cannot control. There is so much in life in general. Like, even, take away COVID-19, take away that right now, take away the pandemic and all the hype and the panic and all that stuff. If that doesn't exist, there's still plenty of things out there that are beyond your control that you can obsess over and completely allow to completely take over. And that's a decision, right? That you're going to make somewhere along the way. I'm hoping that now, where we're at with our current situation, you make the decision to go, you know what? I'm going to keep the stuff I can't control outside of my box and keep only the things I can control, because now it's a little more orderly, it's a little more organized, and you can consume that, right? It makes sense. You can digest that better instead of trying to take on the whole gamut of all the stuff that you can't control. Same thing, right? I think that those are very much aligned. The Disney think inside the box. Same thing here. Don't worry so much about the stuff that's beyond your control. And I think when you do that, you can better set yourself up to help somebody that might be in need. You can be that person if you're not focused solely on the things you can't control.
Mm-hmm. I love
that makes sense.
I love that you referenced Disney. I knew exactly where you were going with that, because
did you? How did you know that?
Because it showed it on Disney Plus for Imagineers, that documentary.
Oh, they mentioned that,
and all the Imagineers all said, they were like, we were, all the older Imagineers when Walt was alive and stuff. That's what they said. They said, we were. And it was like a collective thing that they all kind of thought up of together, because everybody was saying that at the time. They're like, think outside the box, think outside the box. And it was like a few of the Imagineers. And I said, well, I'm going to think inside the box of what I do have and figure out the best solution.
Exactly.
And then that's how it started. And if you just take things back to basics, you can overcome so much more without even realizing it. So I think we're relating it.
Yes, good way to put
into
that.
all of this, Okay, so let's think about it. If I'm a mother and I got 3 kids and they're at home, how am I going to make this the best situation for them and myself?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. What is the stuff you can't control?
Exactly. Instead of freaking out and saying like, oh my God, school is getting canceled, I got to overcome this obstacle and this one. It's like, okay, just focus on what you were given and what the circumstance you're in, and how are you going to overcome that? Just focus on that. You know? Mm-hmm. Everything's different. Okay, you're getting laid off. Okay, what can you control? Go ahead and hop on, go to unemployment. I know for the state of Nevada, they're giving $1,000 if you were laid off. I know that, for unemployment.
Right.
So it's like, you just have to get out and do what you can do.
Even start with just checking some boxes in the box of the things you can do.
Yeah.
That helps too sometimes. Just check some small boxes. Yeah, check some small boxes and do some of the small stuff that you can do. Get your mind off of all that stuff. I'm dealing with it a lot work-wise. Here we go again. I'm making it all about me. Typical.
Shocking.
But work, like I mentioned it last week, I think I'm genuinely overwhelmed, stressed out with what's going on at work. Not bad, like it's a good thing, because I've got a lot of work. Like I've got a lot of things that my company trusts me with, and I think that's a big deal, right? So I don't take that for granted. I think I appreciate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it is stressful, and there are a lot of things that are beyond my control that do directly impact me. I've got deadlines. I've got things that, wow, that hurt my ears, whatever that was.
I'm so sorry. I
It's
hit the
okay.
mic and it was my nails.
That was so loud. Like if someone's driving down the road right now and they have us turned up really loud, that's going to suck.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
Listeners.
It's all good. And I'm not even going to look for it in post, by the way. It's going to be there. So, but I'm saying this because I think it somehow is relevant, right? With my work, there's a lot of stuff that does directly impact me that is beyond my control. Yeah. Plain and simple. And like I told you, I struggle with that. I struggle with moving certain things off of my plate, if you will, and keeping only the stuff that I can control on it. And I've been really, really working on this, and it's helping. Okay. Over these past couple weeks, very stressed out. However, I've been able to, I guess, kind of take some of the advice that I tend to spew sometimes. Hey, you should do this, you should do that, you should try this. And I'm finally really trying to apply it to myself, to my inner self. And it's working. Like I actually was able to really enjoy my weekend, hanging out with my wife and my kids. I'm not saying that I don't do that most weekends, but I'm being real with you guys right now. There's often times that I'm out with my family and I'm not present.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about all the stuff that I can't control in my job. And I've done it for years, and it hurts my heart to even have to admit it. But I mean, think about the damage that's done for my poor kids, because dad's there, but he's not there, and I'm so glad that even, at this point, I wish I would have done it years ago, obviously, but I'm more, again, focused, trying to keep the right perspective. I'm glad that I was able to take my problem, my issue, and kind of separate it from me. It's not me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've always made it a part of me. Like, well, that's just me. Like and I've been able to kind of separate that and go, wait a second, that's not me. It's an issue. It's a problem.
It's like a cyst.
It's a problem, but it's not me, right? And I can change my approach and how I approach this problem. And my problem always really has been like allowing all of the things that I can't control to occupy every corner of my mind, and no room for the now, no room for the moment. That's really how it's been for a long time. Not every single day, but it's been pretty rough. And I'm in a place that's familiar in terms of stress and just being overwhelmed with work, right? It's not like this is the first time that I've been here. Been here many times. The difference is I really do feel like a better, stronger Nick is in this position than has been in the past. A different person has shown up. And the reason for that is because I've been able to work so much on my perspective, right? And especially just coming out of depression and really, kind of winning there. It's a daily battle, but I'm winning. And I think that's really helped me, even though the situation hasn't changed. Like there's so much that could go wrong in my job, but I'm not allowing that stuff to carry. I'm not putting any stock in that like I did for so long. I've just stopped. Like old me, I wouldn't even be able to do what I'm doing now. Like I wouldn't be able to jump on immediately after work and talk and chat with you, talk with my baby sis on a podcast. And the reason I wouldn't be able to do it is because I wouldn't be able to even reach down deep enough to pull me out of the depression or of the stress, the overwhelming darkness that comes with that. Like I'm being real. I know it sounds like I'm over exaggerating here, but it was rough. And I'm saying what I'm saying because somebody out there needs to hear that.
A lot of times I always think like with your situation and how people can get lost. They don't have like a good work-life balance, or they don't focus on themselves and stuff. They get lost in work, or maybe it's something that they're obsessing about because they're creating something. But like how I visually see it is like a hoarder's house. There's like so much
Hmm.
chaos going on in your mind, right? Because you're thinking
Hmm.
about work, you're thinking about your anxiety, you're thinking about your depression, you're thinking about all these
Yeah, you're
different things,
basically
right?
doing that in your brain, right?
Yes. And
You're
it's like
just like,
you
yeah,
have to learn how to organize and what's the word I'm looking for?
declutter.
Yeah, like you just have to figure out how to organize it.
Purge. You got to purge all that stuff. Yeah. And that's kind of
Yeah.
what I've been doing. That's a great way of putting it. Like, that's what I've been working on. Like, it's weird. Like, the stuff, like, I've gotten it to the point where it shows up, right? To your
Yeah.
point, it shows up at the front door and I'm just not answering it anymore. Where before, front door was open,
Yeah.
come on in, and it just
And then it was
piled it
like,
up everywhere.
"I'll get to you
And then I
later."
wondered why I couldn't, yeah, like I wondered why I couldn't get myself up off the couch or pull myself out of that mentality enough to just be present, just to even walk outside and hang out with my neighbors, right? Sometimes was hard. And especially because work, right? It's work stressful right now. I mean, it's super stressful and like overwhelming. But to
Yeah.
your point, I've gotten better at organizing I've gotten better at organizing my headspace with perspective, right? Perspective for sure. If there was one cleaning tool, if you will, that's the tool that I've applied there. And I'm so, so pleased, that God has brought me to where I'm at and delivered me through all of this. And I can say that I'm in a very stressful place right now with work, and I can acknowledge that. I can say, yeah, it's stressful and it's rough, but all of my problems that are, with work, they're going to be there tomorrow, and they don't need to be here with me now, while I'm talking to you. They don't need to be here later when I'm with my
Yeah.
family, when I'm hanging out with my friends. They don't need to be there. I have a place for that now. Does that make sense? It's
Yeah.
not, to your point, it's not scattered all over inside my brain. It's got a place, right? It's got a label,
Mhm.
and it's labeled tomorrow from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's when I deal with it. But you get my point. Like, I just wasn't doing that in the past because, again, I thought that it was just part of me, and it's not. It wasn't.
I think there's a lot of people who think like that. And that's
I
where a
think
lot
that
of
I
people
think
think,
that there is too.
"Oh, you're a workaholic." And it's like, it's not that you're a workaholic, it's just y you just gotta get better in organizing, what's important. Prior
It's just easy. I think it's easy for all of us to forget about taking care of ourselves. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really what it comes down. It's easy to forget about that. It's easy to forget about investing time into yourself, right? Something like going to the gym, right? I've only been to the gym, and I have to say this because I didn't want it to sound like, yeah, I go to the gym every day. I just started going to the gym. Okay, so talk to me next week. I might be like, well, that was a fun experience. Um, but doing stuff like that for me, like I'm enjoying it because I'm doing it with a different perspective,
Mhm.
different clarity now, mental clarity that I just never had in the past. I would do it and it was just kind of like going through the motions. It didn't make sense to me, right? At least not enough to stick with it.
Yeah.
And now my perspective, I think, has matured, is a good way to put it. And I'm able to see now, wow, like what this provides for me. And I'm able to recognize the fact that I'm investing into myself. And I think that's important. I should be investing into myself. My kids should see me investing in myself,
Yeah, because
right? My kids should see that because I want them to invest in themselves. I don't want them to exhaust all of their time and energy on everyone and everything around them so that they are neglected by themselves.
yeah,
And that's what happens,
self-love.
right? That's what happens. So, anyways, what time is it? It is 6:42.
It is 4:42 here in Vegas.
Nice. Nice. Oh, check it out. We are at 1 hour and 4 minutes. So,
Right on schedule.
yes, we are right on schedule. I'm gonna go. I don't really have anything else except for I really just, again, please, if you guys see some acts of kindness or you've done something kind and put someone else before yourself and did something in a time of need. You met a need for somebody else. And you know what? I want to go a step further. If you did something great for you, and that's typically not something you do, if you did something for you, right? And you know if you're the person that I'm talking to right now because you just felt it right now, you thought, man, I haven't done something for me in a long time. If you do something for you, maybe it's you took a walk around the block, right? Something for you. I want to celebrate that win with you too. Please send us some wins to celebrate. It will definitely, we'll give you a shout out. We'll do some shout outs on our Facebook page. Start giving us some feedback. I do really want to I'm going to invest in, what we need to make it possible for people to call in or for us to call you. I think that's going to be awesome. So, so we want to get more feedback from y'all.
No, I love that. And I definitely want to hear as many responses as we can of like seeing the acts of kindness or doing the act of kindness for somebody else, especially in today's time right now with everything that's going on. So that's all I want to see.
We're praying for you guys. We're praying for you all, praying for everybody around the world. And I get that, we have some listeners that aren't, don't believe in God. That's fine. I'm not trying to put that on you, but I'm just telling you I do. And so I'm absolutely praying for you all, praying for everybody around the world, praying for peace, praying that we all get through this and are better for it at the end of all this. And just, please send us some messages, send us some ideas, some topics, things you want us to chat about. What else, Audrey? Maybe send Chris what
Chris
he's due.
Will get his card.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we talk about excuses. I don't know.
I know for sure we got to talk about time management.
Time management. Yeah, time management is on there. I have that listed. So that'll be an episode eventually as well. So let's do this. I'm trying to do, I think I got it. Hold on. There it is. You hear it?
I hear it.
It's different because I'm using the dashboard on Zencastr, so it's a little bit different. But anyway, so once the music starts to come in, that's the official end of the podcast for those of you that are new here. Thanks for joining us in podcast land. And
it was a nice escape from reality today.
It was. I hope that we did something for somebody, but we appreciate you guys. We appreciate all of you for listening.
I hope one of our tangents helped you guys out too.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your support. I am dead set on getting Audrey out here and us starting a Stretch It Out YouTube channel. I think we can do more. We can provide more. We can do more than one episode a week, possibly. So just, we really want to try to just do more. So thank you guys so much for all your encouraging words, your kind words, all your support. Please keep listening. Thanks for stretching it out with us. And we'll catch you all next time.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Stay safe.
Everyone be safe. Peace.
Peace.